Hi there, friend, let me ask you something, and be honest with me. Have you ever laid in bed at night, eyes wide open, just staring at the ceiling, wishing, no, begging, for sleep to come, and the more you think about sleeping, the more it runs away from you? If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. In fact, it's one of the most common struggles people share with me, especially as we grow older, and if you've ever thought to yourself, why can't I sleep like I used to? Well, you're in the right place, because today, we're going to talk about exactly that. Why our sleep changes with age, what's really going on in our bodies and minds, and, most importantly, what you can do about it. This isn't going to be a lecture. No fancy jargon, no complicated science talk. Just you and me, having an honest, heart-to-heart conversation about something that affects every single one of you. So go ahead, get comfortable. Grab a cozy blanket or a cup of tea if you'd like. Let's settle in and talk. Let's start with this simple truth: sleep changes as we age, not because we're doing something wrong, but because our bodies are changing. Our hormones shift, our brains work a little differently, and even our routines evolve. But here's the good news: understanding why this happens is the first step to sleeping better. Let's take a gentle walk through some of the reasons. Point 1. The body's internal clock starts ticking differently. You've probably heard the term circadian rhythm before, right? It's just a fancy name for your body's internal clock. This clock tells you when to feel sleepy, when to wake up, and even when to feel hungry. When we're younger, this clock is pretty consistent. But as we get older, it starts to shift. Our bodies may want to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. But even more frustratingly, the quality of sleep we get during those hours changes too. Older adults often spend less time in deep sleep, the kind where your body really gets to rest and recharge. That's why you might wake up after a full night in bed and still feel, well, tired. It's not that you didn't sleep long enough. It's that you didn't get enough restorative sleep. Point 2. Hormones, those little things that do big work. Now, let's talk about something we can't see but definitely feel: hormones. There's a hormone called melatonin, you might have heard of it. It's the one that helps us fall asleep. Our bodies naturally produce it, usually in the evening when it gets dark, but guess what happens as we get older? That's right. We produce less of it. Less melatonin means it's harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. And to make things even trickier, our bodies become more sensitive to light and noise, which can disturb our sleep more easily. So if you find yourself waking up at 3 a.m. because the neighbor's porch light flicked on or the cat sneezed in the next room, yeah, that's part of it. Point 3. Aches, pains, and medications. Oh my, now let's be real here, our bodies don't always cooperate like they used to. A creaky knee, a stiff back, a little indigestion here and there, those things can make it tough to fall asleep and stay asleep. And then there are medications. So many of us take medications for things like blood pressure, heart conditions, arthritis, and more. And while they're often essential for our health, they can also mess with our sleep. Some cause drowsiness during the day and insomnia at night. Others might make you need to use the bathroom more often, interrupting your rest. Even something as common as a decongestant or allergy medicine can keep you awake without you realizing it. Point 4. Emotional and mental health play a role too. Let me pause here and say something that doesn't get said enough. It's okay to talk about how you're feeling. Aging comes with a lot of change. Sometimes it's joyful, retirement, more time with family, discovering hobbies. But sometimes, it's hard, loneliness, grief, anxiety. These can quietly creep into our lives and settle in, especially at night when the world is quiet, and you know what? They can keep you up. Our minds replay the day, our worries grow louder in the silence, and suddenly it's 2 a.m. and sleep feels a million miles away. You're not weak. You're human. And this part of the conversation matters just as much as anything happening inside your body. Point 5. The myth of 8 hours. Let's clear up one more thing. This idea that we must get exactly 8 hours of sleep every night. It's not true for everyone. Some older adults do just fine on 6 to 7 hours, while others may need a little more. The key isn't the exact number, it's how you feel during the day. If you're waking up feeling refreshed, staying alert, and enjoying your day, that's what matters. But if you're constantly tired, groggy, or struggling to concentrate, your sleep might need a closer look. So let's pause for a moment. We've talked about the changes in our internal clocks, the hormones that help us rest, how pain and medicine can play a part, and how emotional health affects our sleep. That's a lot, I know. But you're doing great, and it's important to understand the full picture. And here's the thing I want you to hold on to: just because sleep changes with age doesn't mean you have to accept bad sleep as your new normal. There are things you can do, real, practical changes that can help you sleep better, feel better, and wake up with more energy to enjoy your life. And that, my friend, is exactly what we'll talk about in the next chapter. So when you're ready, let's keep going. Alright, my friend, welcome back. Now that we've talked about why sleep tends to get trickier as we age, it's time to dig into something even more important. What can we do about it? Because here's what I believe, with all my heart: you deserve to rest well. You deserve to wake up feeling refreshed and ready to enjoy your day, not dragging your feet and counting the hours until you can crawl back into bed. So let's talk about what might be getting in the way of your rest, and how we can gently, kindly, and patiently take your sleep back. And don't worry, I'm not here to tell you to change your whole life overnight or buy some expensive gadget. We're going to keep this real, simple, and doable. Let's start with your environment, your bedroom. Think of your bedroom like a sleep sanctuary. It should feel safe, quiet, and peaceful. But so often, there are little things in that space that work against sleep, and we don't even realize it. Let me walk you through a few quick questions. Is there light coming in through the window, like from a street lamp or porch light? Is the room too warm or too cold? Do you keep the TV on at night, just for background noise? Are your sheets comfortable, or do they bunch up and make you toss and turn? All of these things, light, temperature, noise, and comfort, can affect your sleep more than you might think. Here's how we can fix that. White heavy checkmark: use blackout curtains or an eye mask to block out unwanted light. White heavy checkmark: keep the room cool. Around 65 to 68 degrees is often best for sleep. White heavy checkmark: try replacing noisy distractions with calming sounds, like a fan or gentle nature noise machine. White heavy checkmark: and if you haven't updated your pillows or bedding in a while, maybe it's time to treat yourself. You deserve that comfort. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest sleep stealers out there: blue light. I know, it sounds technical, but hang in there. It's simple. Blue light comes from things like smartphones, tablets, computers, and even some energy-efficient light bulbs. And guess what? Blue light tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. That's right. Even if it's 9:30 at night, if you're scrolling on your phone or watching a bright TV screen, your brain might go, "Oh, it's still daylight. I better stay awake." So here's what you can do. White heavy checkmark: try to avoid screens at least 1 hour before bed. White heavy checkmark: or, if you must use a device, turn on night mode or use blue light filters. White heavy checkmark: swap that time with something calming. Read a gentle book, listen to music, or chat with a loved one. Think of it like this: give your brain a soft landing at the end of the day. Ease into sleep, don't crash into it. Let's move to another quiet culprit: caffeine and alcohol. You already know that caffeine can keep you awake, but did you know that it can stay in your body for up to 8 hours? So if you enjoy coffee or tea in the afternoon, it might still be bouncing around your system by bedtime. My tip: white heavy checkmark: try to have your last cup of coffee or caffeinated tea before 2 p.m. White heavy checkmark: and if you love an evening cup, switch to something like herbal tea. Chamomile or peppermint can be so soothing. Now, alcohol is a sneaky one. A nightcap might make you feel sleepy at first, but later, it can disrupt your sleep, waking you up in the middle of the night. So if you're reaching for a glass of wine before bed, try having it earlier in the evening instead, and give your body time to wind down naturally. How about this? What's your nighttime routine like? Be honest now. Do you go from watching a show, straight to brushing your teeth, and then hop into bed, hoping sleep will magically arrive? Your brain needs a signal, like a friendly nudge, that it's time to slow down and prepare for rest. Try this instead. White heavy checkmark: set a gentle routine. Maybe 30 to 60 minutes of quiet time. White heavy checkmark: turn down the lights. White heavy checkmark: wash your face with warm water. White heavy checkmark: do some light stretches or breathing exercises. White heavy checkmark: write down your thoughts in a journal. Get your worries out of your head and onto paper. Routines matter. They're not just for kids, we need them, too. Now, let's get personal. What's going on in your heart and mind? We touched on this in chapter 1, but let's go a little deeper. Worries, sadness, or even too much excitement can stir our minds up at night, and sometimes, we lie there in the dark, rethinking every little thing: what we said, what we didn't say, what's coming tomorrow. Here's something I do that might help you, too. White heavy checkmark: keep a little worry notebook by your bed. When thoughts race through your mind, write them down. Tell yourself, okay, I've parked that thought. I'll deal with it tomorrow. White heavy checkmark: try deep breathing. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6 seconds. Repeat that a few times. You'll feel your body gently calm down. White heavy checkmark: or simply speak kindly to yourself, like you would to a dear friend: I've done enough for today. I deserve rest. I am safe. I can let go. It's not magic, but it helps. It really helps. What about during the day? Are you moving your body? You don't need to run a marathon. But daily movement can make a world of difference for your sleep. Why? Because physical activity helps balance your hormones, eases anxiety, and makes your body more ready for rest at night. White heavy checkmark. A short walk in the fresh air. White heavy checkmark. Gentle stretches or yoga. White heavy checkmark. Water exercises. White heavy checkmark. Even gardening or dancing in the living room. Aim for at least 20 to 30 minutes a day. More if you feel up to it. Your body and your sleep will thank you. Just be sure to do it earlier in the day. Late night exercise can rev you up and make falling asleep harder. Let's talk about naps. Naps. Sweet little gifts in the middle of the day, but here's the catch: too much napping, or napping too late in the day, can make it hard to fall asleep at night. White heavy checkmark. If you need a nap, try to keep it to 30 minutes or less, and before 3 p.m. A little nap is like a snack. It tides you over without spoiling your dinner, or in this case, your sleep. And finally, be kind to yourself. Some nights will still be tough. That's just life, but if you can bring in even a few of these gentle habits, you might start noticing a difference. Not overnight, but over time. And remember, you're not failing if you have trouble sleeping. You're not broken. You're human, and you're trying. That matters. You're learning how to listen to your body and respond with care. In our next chapter, we're going to take all of this even further. We'll talk about when it might be time to talk to a doctor, how to know if something more serious is going on, and the most powerful, heart-centered steps you can take to transform your sleep for good. But for now, I want you to breathe in and out, and feel proud of yourself. You're taking back your nights, one gentle step at a time. Welcome back, dear friend. If you've made it this far with me, I want to pause and tell you something important. You are not powerless when it comes to your sleep. You are not too old to change, and you are certainly not stuck with sleepless nights forever. What you are is resilient, curious, and open to healing, and that's something to be proud of. In our first chapter, we explored why sleep changes with AGE. In the second, we looked at what's getting in the way, and the simple, practical steps you can take to sleep better. Now here in Chapter 3, we're going to go a little deeper. We're going to talk about the long-term path to better sleep, what to watch out for, what conversations to have with your doctor, and how to create a life that supports peaceful, restful nights, not just for a few days, but for good. Let's start with something that's often overlooked. 1. When it's more than just not sleeping well. Sometimes, sleep trouble is more than just a light sleeper or a restless mind. It could be the sign of an underlying condition that needs attention. Let me ask you, do you snore loudly at night? Have you been told you stop breathing in your sleep? Do you wake up gasping for air or feeling like you didn't breathe deeply all night? Do you fall asleep suddenly during the day, even while sitting or talking? These could be signs of sleep apnea, a serious, but treatable, sleep disorder that affects many older adults. Sleep apnea means your breathing actually stops and starts while you sleep, and that can make your heart work harder, your brain more tired, and your mood more irritable. If this sounds familiar, please, don't ignore it. White heavy checkmark. Talk to your doctor. You might need a sleep study, which is safe and painless. White heavy checkmark. If diagnosed, treatment can transform your sleep and your life. Point 2. What about restless legs or leg cramps? Have you ever been drifting off, only to feel an irresistible urge to move your legs, or maybe your legs twitch or jerk during sleep, waking you up? This might be something called restless leg syndrome, RLS, or periodic limb movement disorder, PLMD. It's more common as we age, and it can seriously mess with our rest. RLS often feels like tingling, itching, or crawling sensations in your legs, and the only relief comes from moving them. PLMD, on the other hand, causes involuntary jerks or kicks during sleep, sometimes without you even knowing. Both of these conditions are treatable. White heavy checkmark. Talk to your doctor if you suspect it. White heavy checkmark. Certain supplements, like iron or magnesium, and medications might help. White heavy checkmark. Cutting back on caffeine and sticking to a calming bedtime routine also eases symptoms. You don't have to live with this quietly. There are answers. Point 3. Could it be depression, anxiety, or grief? This one's tender, but it needs to be said. Sleep doesn't just live in your body, it lives in your heart and mind, too. And sometimes, what looks like insomnia is actually your body's way of saying, something inside me needs attention. Maybe you've lost a loved one. Maybe retirement left you feeling unmoored. Maybe life just feels heavy, or lonely, or too quiet now. These feelings matter. They are not small, and they absolutely affect how well you sleep. White heavy checkmark. If you feel persistently down, anxious, or unmotivated, please speak to someone you trust. White heavy checkmark. Therapy, counseling, or support groups are not signs of weakness, they are acts of courage. White heavy checkmark. There are treatments for depression and anxiety that can help you feel better and sleep better. You are never alone in this. Never. Point 4. Medications. Are they helping or hurting? Here's something most people don't realize. Some medications cause insomnia, others cause daytime drowsiness, confusion, or nighttime restlessness. Even seemingly unrelated meds, like blood pressure pills, corticosteroids, or even decongestants, can affect sleep. White heavy checkmark. It's worth reviewing your medications with your doctor or pharmacist. White heavy checkmark. Ask, could this be affecting my sleep? White heavy checkmark. Don't stop anything without advice, but do have the conversation, and if you're already taking sleeping pills, I want to speak directly to that. Yes, they can offer short-term relief. But over time, many people become dependent on them, and they can lose effectiveness. Some even cause memory problems, dizziness, or falls, especially in older adults. If you're relying on sleep meds night after night, please talk to your doctor about tapering gently and exploring natural alternatives. You are allowed to ask for better, safer options. Point 5. Build a life that honors your sleep. This is the soul of it all. Friend, sleep doesn't start the moment your head hits the pillow. It begins the moment you wake up. What we do all day, the food we eat, the light we get, the company we keep, all of it sets the stage for how we sleep at night. Let me give you a few gentle, life-giving suggestions. White heavy checkmark. Get sunlight in the morning. Open the curtains. Step outside. Your brain needs natural light to regulate your sleep-wake cycle. White heavy checkmark. Eat balanced meals at regular times. Avoid heavy dinners and late-night snacking. White heavy checkmark. Make joy part of your day. A phone call. A laugh. A good book. Sleep comes easier when we've truly lived during the day. White heavy checkmark. Stay connected. Isolation feeds insomnia. Even short visits, a club, or a volunteer activity can lift your spirit and help your body rest. White heavy checkmark. Speak kindly to yourself. No more saying, I'm just old, I guess. Say this instead, I'm learning to care for myself in new ways. Because you are, and I'm proud of you for that. Point 6. Write a new sleep story. Let's end this chapter, this whole journey, with a little exercise. A new story tonight. When you go to bed, don't say, ugh, here we go again. Another night of staring at the ceiling. Say this instead, out loud or in your heart. Tonight, I give myself permission to rest. I let go of what I can't control. I've done enough for today. I am safe. I am loved. I welcome sleep like an old friend. Say it even if it feels silly. Say it because your brain and body are listening. Say it because changing how we sleep starts with changing how we speak to ourselves. Point 1. Last thing. Friend, I want you to know how deeply I believe in your ability to rest again. Yes, it might take time. Yes, it might take a few new habits, or a doctor's help, or some support from a loved one. But none of that means you failed. It means you're growing. It means you're healing. It means you're choosing to care for yourself, even when it's hard, and that's one of the bravest things a person can do. So tonight, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and know this: you are not alone, you are not broken, you are loved and peaceful. Healing sleep is possible, even now. I'm right here with you, every step of the way. Good night, dear one. Sleep well. You've earned it.